So I figured since I'm here by myself and I just made a phone call to Skylar and I was blocked again, that I would make another video blog, whatever the hell these things are. It's been over a year since I started these, and I don't really know why I do them. I have had some of them reveal some pretty horrible things and been used against me. And I've had them document things that I didn't realize that I was documenting at the time. I guess you could call them evidence, or you could call them whatever you want. I really don't care. I have been uploading them to YouTube because I think maybe somebody will watch them and give a shit, but not really. I really don't care. It's just a good place to have them out there where people can see. I'm not doing so well. Not only do I miss my son, I am finding things out about what's really going on here. And it's pretty fucked up. So I guess I can tell you what I know, and what I know is this, is that something happened. Well, shit. I mean, I really believe that, and this isn't true, but, or fact yet, but I believe that Mike Bull sought my mother out because of who she is. She worked in the title company for a really long time. And she was an escrow officer, and she worked her ass off. But my grandpa actually owned a title company when she was growing up, and she worked there too. So they know like everything there is to know about lands and deeds and mortgages and all that stuff. So, and Wyoming land in general. So Mike is a trust fund attorney, and he takes people's estates and invests them. So it's kind of a match made in heaven, if you didn't think about it. And, they said they met on a blind date, but I just am starting to think that that's not true. But that's just hearsay for now. But what I know is that I always had doubts when my grandfather died of what happened to his estate. My mother said he died poor, with nothing. He had $6,000 in his pocket, and we each got a dividend of, each sibling got $2,000, and that was it. I got 1,000 of it because my mom didn't want my money, and it paid for my divorce, is what she said. Never heard another word about it. She said he sold his land. He had like 40 acres in the Medicine Bow Forest. He had house. He had all this property, but he died broke. And he was a veteran, a disabled veteran all his life. Well, lo and behold, I started doing some research on Mike. And Mike is part of some Southeastern Planning Council, which happens to have some interesting members, like a couple of judges that have been on my case. And guardian ad litem and my stepfather are both in the United Way. Guardian ad litem's wife, for crying out loud, is like the district land manager person, so that makes sense. So they're all in bed together. Well, it gets quite bigger than that. Wyoming is going through this huge thing with land and trusts, and they are doing some landmark things, and I don't know everything there is to know about it, but what I know is that my stepfather's bank is a small town bank, and it has less than $100 million in it. But the trust portion of the business has nearly, in 2004, it had nearly $500 million in it, and that's a lot of fucking money. Can you imagine what it is like now? Trillions of dollars. So he's worth quite a lot of money, and he's got everybody's money invested all over, and he's making them buku bucks, and no one wants to fuck with him. So that's the big problem with what we have going on right now. Another problem is that my grandfather, God bless his fucking soul. So what I find out about my grandpa my grandpa was the county treasurer for Carbon County here in Wyoming. He was county commissioner, president of all the county commissioners in the United States of America at one point. He was pretty big woohoo. But what he liked to do, and ever since the late 60s when he started this gig, is when he would see land that needed to be claimed because nobody paid their taxes, he would go and he would find people and say, hey, why don't you pay the taxes on this and I'll give you some land. And the taxes would be like $5.84, and then they get a piece of land. I mean, there were some of these pieces of land that were like $300,000 pieces of land, and my grandpa just said, hey, pay the taxes, $84, it's yours. So he's kind of like Robin Hood, which I think is kind of cool because he was allowed to do that. And so it's kind of the complete opposite of each other. My stepfather is the guy who wants to take your land and invest it and make money. My grandpa is the type of person that gives it back knowing he's not going to make anything off of it. Doesn't mean he didn't make his fair share of money, though, because he would find land that he wanted or was a great deal, and he would buy it and then turn around and sell it. I mean, he owned restaurants, he owned title companies, he owned bars, he owned movie theaters all over the goddamn state. And how do I know? He might have land somewhere else. We don't know. But what I know is that the man was smart, and he knew what he was doing, and he happened to know when this estate planning council began, and it's popping up all over the country. These estate planning councils are I think they're almost a front for something else, but I can't say that, and I don't really want anything to do with it because I know how much money these people are making, and I don't want to mess with them. It's not my thing. I don't care. Do your thing. It's totally legal, and people are giving you their land, and that's shitty that you're doing this to people, but it's really their choice. But my grandfather makes me think one thing is that looking back through everything, I feel like in the end, I know he was really angry at my mom. And I know that he was pissed at her. And I've heard conflicting stories about all kinds of things. But what I think is I think my grandfather pulled a coup. And I think my grandfather might have put some land into a trust. And if he did, this particular piece of land in the Medicine Bow Forest happens to be on something called the John Ludwig claim. And the John Ludwig claim is actually a mine. It's a big mine, copper mine. So if he tucked away this little, I think he sold part of it, and I think he tucked away part of it into a trust. If he did that, today that land is worth millions. So, but when he died, it would turn it into a irrevocable trust, which means whoever he left it to, that's who they left it to. Nobody else can get it. Well, going back through everything, I've signed living wills, power of attorneys, then they took the guardianship. Now they won't give my youngest son back. They really didn't care about keeping Czar. I don't think it's anything to do with Mike being a creep who likes little kids. Fucking sick bastard. Despite all that, I'm thinking that maybe the one thing that would make my mother go on board would be my grandfather's money. What if my grandpa left that little piece of property to his grandchildren? And to be able to get into it, you would have to have a guardianship which states that I'm incapacitated and incapable of making my own decisions. And that's what that guardianship does. So here we are. Now, if I was really, really cruel but smart, I would tell my son that I was after money, because if the guardianship terminates, my mom had just sold her house down in Arizona. If things are the way I think they are, she would actually finally have to tell me that there's a trust, or there's something going on where they're trying to keep it a secret because they've committed fraud by not telling me. So, something fishy is going on that has nothing to do with Skylar J. Skylar J is just a pawn to keep a secret. I know that. I can feel it in my heart. I actually, when I went to do the speech for National Coalition of Domestic Violence, I went and stopped by my grandpa's grave and my uncle's grave and all my ancestors' graves, and Czar saw an owl, and this owl was so cool. And he was just sitting up in this tree and he was watching us. And they say that an owl represents a message from a loved one from the past. They represent wisdom. They represent truth, and that it will be revealed. And I tell you what, ever since then, I have been digging and I have been finding all kinds of shit. I mean, things I never knew. And there just happens to be a life insurance policy that my uncle must have, that I just found. It's unclaimed. So me and my aunt are going to go claim it because we can. Who knows how much is in that fucking thing? But what I know is that I've got some people behind me, and I really need them. Because my son thinks that I'm trying to terminate this guardianship for money. I don't give a rat's ass about money. Never have, never will. It's always been my character, and my mom knows this. I haven't talked to Skylar in a month. He's so angry at me. He thinks I'm a liar. But I don't care. I'm going to keep fighting for him, and I'm going to get him back somehow. But pretty soon, if I don't get him back soon, I can't put him in the car and drag him home. But the frickin' goddamn Cherokee Nation can. What I know is that I feel like my whole life has been a lie, and that nobody thinks that I'm capable of doing anything for myself except for my grandfather and my Aunt Cora, my Aunt Toot. Why is it that my own parents cannot seem to just be fucking parents for once? I am so sad that my mother would do this. I'm thinking that my mother is in a fucked up position right now, and I don't want to believe that she is that cruel. I know Mike is, but I don't know if she is. But what I know is she did protect some of Grandpa's money because it's still sitting in a trust, I think, on her house. So if that money goes somewhere, it is safe. But to know that this is all about fucking money, if this is what this whole fucking thing has been about, what the fuck? I would have signed it over. I would have signed over the money to keep my child. Look at me, I'm tired. I'm depressed. I don't even want to leave the fucking house. I would have signed over every fucking dime just to get Skylar back. I would do it now. If that meant this could be over. So, July 3rd, excuse me. We have our summary judgment motion hearing, and this is it. This is my chance. This is what I've been waiting for. And there is no doubt in my mind I should win. I am going to win. I have every right to win. I have not been found unfit. I have done nothing to have anybody take my children away. I voluntarily, supposedly gave them up, then I can take it back. And he can be mad at me here at home until we can talk about it. I want to see my son. I want to see my son. Fuck. I'm tired of fighting for something I shouldn't have to fight for. So, I just hope that this is over soon because I'm about to lose my shit. I get really angry and I don't want to get angry. So I just hope that my grandpa's with me and my uncle and all those people because I need him right now bad. I need him. I need something. Because I don't have a mother. And I don't have a father. I don't really have anybody. But I got Chris, thank God, and I have Zara, and I have a couple family members, and I think that that's great. But I want my son. I'm half tempted to call him up right now and tell him, you want me to sign it over? I'll sign it over. Just give him back. I don't want the money. I don't want it. I hope that's not what this is about. But we're gonna find out, aren't we? Because I am far from fucking done. And I am going to get to the bottom of this. And God help you, all of you, if this was over money. So, here we go. Skylar, I love you.